What's up, Rochester? Happy Thursday. My name is Crystal, and this is Dates in the States on 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. Starting today, I'll be here every other Thursday at 6 p.m., bringing you the latest on things to do in Rochester, like hidden gems you may not know about, weekend events, restaurant recommendations, fun adventures happening throughout upstate New York and beyond. Now, before we jump into today's topic, let me tell you a little about who we are. Dates in the States started because my now husband Shane and we jumped in our Mustang when we first started dating and drove around the United States for 5 weeks. So I wrote about everywhere we went, talked about us going on dates in different cities and places around the States, and when we returned home, I just kept writing. So Dates in the States eventually grew into a successful travel blog, and today we have our own published date books and road trip games that are sold in local gift shops, bookstores, Walmart.com, and even on our website. So we call these date books, Mystery City date books, which are designed to take the stress out of planning. So each one features like an itinerary in a specific city. We have a lot made up for Rochester and Buffalo right now, and we're branching into other states too. So it kind of tells you exactly where to go, what to do, where to eat, and what experiences to enjoy, but you don't know where you're going until you open it. So it's like a complete date day planned for you. You can learn about us anytime at datesinthestates.com, and be sure to connect with me. You can actually do so right now in real time on Instagram at Dates in the States, so be sure to say hi. But for now, let's get down to business. All right, so my question for you today on this beautiful Thursday evening is, if you had $50 to spend this Saturday afternoon, what would you do? I want you to think about it for a second. Would you spend it on lunch, shopping, maybe a movie? All right, here's what we would do. I'm thinking maybe this will introduce you to a few hidden gems you didn't know existed nearby. For all of you listening in Rochester, maybe it's a place that you've been meaning to check out for years, but let's be honest, like the $50 is not going to go very far anymore. That's basically dinner for two at some places, or maybe even dinner for one. So I want to make it count. So since we just heard the weather and it sounds like Saturday is looking a little rainy right now, I focused on a few indoor activities. So first up, my favorite, Sense by Design. If you've never been there, it's not just a place where you buy a candle. I think that's like the biggest mistake that people make about this Sense by Design. So you actually make a candle instead. So one of my favorite things here is smelling the dozens of oils and somehow putting together multiple scents to really make one amazing candle. So like in the past, I've put together scents of wine and chocolate to make a chocolate wine candle, or a campfire and s'mores candle. And they even have tons of other scents like tomatoes or freshly mowed grass. And you can just really put them all together and you make one of a kind candle. And it is so fun and surprisingly entertaining. And I know you guys, you men out there, are probably thinking, oh, that's just for women. It's not. I think my husband can attest to that. It's actually really, really fun. And it's really fun to do together. All right, next up is the Positive Cat Cafe on East Avenue. Mom, if you're listening, I really want to take you here next time you come and visit me. So this place recently opened up their new location in an old, I believe it's like a Dunkin' Donuts, and they've honestly done an amazing job transforming the space. So you can just walk in, grab a coffee, sit down, and you pet some cats. And to be honest, there's probably a very real chance you'll leave wanting to adopt at least one of them. So now, if Rochester weather decides to do what Rochester weather does and the rain disappears, I highly suggest you head over to Tinker Nature Park. So this is also home to the Hanson Nature Center, which is open on Saturdays, closed on Sundays. And it's one of those places that reminds you how much nature and history really do exist right here in our community. So inside this nature center, you can learn about the park, you can see some of the birds and animals they have inside, and then you can explore the trails afterwards. So it's really peaceful, it's free, and it's something a lot of people don't realize exists. Okay, I know that was a lot of information to take in, but I wanted to take a really quick break. I'm going to be a little corny right now and mention that it was just our 4-year wedding anniversary, and this is our wedding song coming up. It's Wonderwall by Ryan Adams. So this one's for you, babe. And when we come back, I'm going to be sharing a few events that are happening this weekend in Rochester and restaurant recommendations that are absolutely worth checking out. And we're back. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm Crystal, and you're listening to Dates in the States here on 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. I asked everyone a question earlier. If you had $50 to spend this weekend, how would you do it? And a few ideas that I mentioned was Tinker Nature Park and Hanson Nature Center, Positive Cat Cafe, or making a candle at Sense by Design. Now, if you're looking for events this weekend, there's a few that caught our attention. Now, all of these are ones that are happening on Saturday, June 6th. So we have, and I'm just going to list these, these couple that I found. The Bourbon and Whiskey Fest at Batavia Downs. The 20th Annual Dog Walk and Pet Festival called Fast and Furriest, supporting Rochester Animal Services at Brown Square Park. Beer Yoga at Rising Storm Brewery at the Mill. And then lastly, the Master Gardener Expo and Plant Sale. That is happening 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, this plant event is an amazing community event and fundraiser with the Cornell Cooperative Extension on St. Paul Boulevard, which is a quarter mile from the zoo. So definitely check that out. And then if you want to do something on Sunday, June 7th, here's two that stuck out to us. And of course, we had to make a point to bring this one up. It's called Date Night Paint Night at Alt Bar. That just sounds fun. And then Plant Bingo, so more plants for your weekend at Fairport Brewing Company and Meadery, hosted by STEM Rochester and Refined Roots. Now, before you head out, I highly suggest you obviously Google these events first and make sure to grab all the event details like timing and ticket pricing, etc. But those are just a few that I found that I thought could spice up this weekend. Now, let's say you still have some of that $50 left from my earlier question, and slim chance, but let's just pretend that you do. Or maybe you're just hungry after all of these adventures, so I wanted to mention a few restaurant recommendations to add to your weekend plans. So first up, we have Mongolian Barbecue and Mocha Nut in Henrietta. I have to admit, this place is just fun. So you fill a bowl with ingredients from their fresh or somewhat frozen buffet, you hand it over to them, and then they cook it right in front of you. And then when you're done, you can go next door. It's like in the same building. Is Mocha Nut or Mochi Nut. I'm not really sure which way you pronounce it, but these donuts are amazing. So these Mocha Nuts are like Japanese mochi and American donuts that are combined. So they're like made with rice flour, and they're ring shaped, and they're made up of like 8 connected dough balls, and they're just so light and easy to pull apart, and they have amazing different flavors. So my favorite is the cheesecake, but they also have flavors like taro, cookies and cream, matcha, pistachio, ubi. It's a fun place. Definitely check that out in Henrietta. Mongolian Barbecue. All right. And then next up, another favorite of ours is Union Tavern in Arundequite. So if you like good food and local history and ghosts, I highly suggest this place should absolutely be on your list. And I know you probably heard me say ghosts, and I have to say that I heard through the grapevine that they literally had a paranormal investigator come in before the new owners were going to buy it. Like, they actually wanted it haunted before they bought this place. And so they host paranormal events throughout the year. And every Friday night, so here's a Friday night idea instead of just on the weekend, they have free bourbon tastings in their upstairs speakeasy. So since it's in their speakeasy, you have to actually ask people, if the bourbon tasting is happening, and then they'll point to you and go upstairs. It's very hush hush. Maybe not now, but anyways, don't tell them I gave it away. Okay, so finally, my third favorite place is Josie Rock Cafe in Henrietta. It's actually one of the newest hidden gems that we've discovered. So if you love authentic Korean food, fantastic fried dumplings, and like it's a cafe style, so they have amazing tea and coffee as well. Like my favorite is their yuzu hibiscus tea. And their Korean barbecue is honestly the best that I've had here locally in Rochester. And I have to admit, like, we have a lot of Asian and Korean cuisine places, and this is so good. Okay, so enough about Rochester. I want to step away for a minute and just say, you know, our name and the name of this segment is Dates in the States. So that means that we take dates together throughout the United States. And I just got back from the Women in Travel Summit that took place in Chattanooga, Tennessee this year. And so I just want to briefly share a few things that I thought were really special that we did while I was there. And for this conference, like, the excursions are the best part. So past years have been in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where I snowshoed, and I had a photo shoot in the Salt Flats with B&H Creators, which was sponsored by Sony. That was a really cool experience. Or Portland, Maine, where I took an amazing bike tour and spent time at my all-time favorite restaurant called Duck Fat. And some of the cool things that we did while in Chattanooga this past week was cave splunking at Raccoon Mountain Caverns. And word of advice, don't watch that movie, you know, The Descent. If you've ever seen the movie The Descent, you know what I'm talking about. Just don't watch that before doing this, because you're literally in a cave crawling through small tunnels where your face is having to be turned to the side so you can literally slide through, or you're crawling on your hands and knees because you can't stand up straight to get through some of the areas of this cave. So that was a really cool experience. And then I loved the famous Incline Railway, where you take a rail car up to Lookout Mountain at a 72% incline. It's like the steepest railway in the United States, maybe even in the world. I have no idea. And then Rock City was really cool because I got to see the famous Lover's Leap overlook, which is where you can see 7 states at the same time. Okay, before I go, let me know if you have a hidden gem, local event, restaurant, attraction, unique experience, whatever it might be, that you would like me to feature on a future episode of Dates in the States. I'd really love to hear about it. So I'm very active on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. So send me a message. My tag is @Dates in the States, and let me know your favorite place, so what you want me to be recommending on this show. I would love to hear it. And here's the takeaway for you this week. This weekend, I want you to go and try one thing you've never done before. So I want you to visit a restaurant, attend an event, explore a hidden gem, maybe even just take a different road home, because one thing Shane and I have learned from traveling all over the country is that adventure doesn't always require a plane ticket, and sometimes it's sitting right here in your own backyard. All right, I'm Crystal. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'll catch you back here on June 18th at 6 p.m. sharp for another edition of Dates in the States. You're listening to 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. Now back to you, DJ Shadow. And we're going to play Last Call by Jamie Miller.